Anna's New Beginning. My name is Anna, and I've always been the kind of person who preferred the comfort of my small town to the chaos of the outside world. I grew up in a quaint little house with a white picket fence, surrounded by familiar faces and routines. My life was predictable, and for a long time, I thought that was enough. But deep down, I felt a yearning for something more, something beyond the confines of my everyday existence. It all changed one fateful afternoon when I received a letter from my estranged aunt, Clara. I hadn't seen her in years, and to be honest, I didn't even know where she lived. The letter was an invitation to visit her in a city I had only heard about in stories, New Orleans. She wrote about the vibrant culture, the music that filled the streets, and the magic that seemed to linger in the air. I was hesitant at first, but something about her words ignited a spark within me. After days of contemplation, I made the decision to go. I packed a small suitcase, filled with clothes, a journal, and a camera. I wanted to capture every moment of this adventure, even if it was just a weekend trip. As I boarded the train, I felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. What would I find in this new city? Would my aunt even remember me? The journey was long, but the scenery was breathtaking. Rolling hills gave way to sprawling cities, and I watched as the landscape transformed outside my window. When I finally arrived in New Orleans, the air was thick with humidity and the scent of something delicious wafted through the streets. I felt alive. Clara greeted me with open arms, her warm smile instantly putting me at ease. She was everything I had imagined, full of life, laughter, and stories. Over the next few days, she showed me the city, taking me to bustling markets, jazz clubs, and hidden courtyards filled with blooming flowers. I was captivated by the energy of New Orleans, a stark contrast to the quiet life I had known. One evening, as we strolled through the French Quarter, Clara took me to a small cafe known for its bayonets. We sat outside, sipping coffee and watching the world go by. It was there that I learned about her life, her struggles, her triumphs, and her passion for art. She had once been a painter, pouring her heart into every canvas, but life had taken her on a different path. I could see the longing in her eyes as she spoke about her dreams. Inspired by her story, I shared my own aspirations. I had always loved writing, but I had never pursued it seriously. Clara encouraged me to follow my passion, to embrace my creativity without fear. Her words resonated with me, and for the first time, I felt a sense of possibility. The next day, Clara took me to an art gallery showcasing local artists. As I wandered through the exhibits, I felt a surge of inspiration. I picked up my camera and began capturing the beauty around me, the vibrant colors, the intricate details, and the emotions that each piece evoked. I realized that art, in all its forms, had the power to tell stories, to connect people, and to inspire change. As my visit came to an end, I knew I couldn't return to my old life without making a change. I decided to stay in New Orleans for a while longer, to immerse myself in the culture and explore my creativity. Clara supported my decision wholeheartedly, and together we embarked on a journey of self-discovery. I began writing every day, pouring my thoughts and experiences into my journal. I explored the city, meeting new people and hearing their stories. I found a small writing group that met weekly, where I shared my work and received feedback. The encouragement I received fueled my passion, and I felt a sense of belonging that I had never experienced before. One night, while attending a local open mic event, I gathered the courage to share one of my poems. As I stood on stage, my heart raced, but the moment I began to speak, I felt a wave of confidence wash over me. The audience listened intently, and when I finished, the applause was deafening. In that moment, I realized that my voice mattered, and my words had the power to resonate with others. As the weeks turned into months, I continued to grow as a writer and as a person. I formed deep connections with the people I met, each one leaving a mark on my heart. Clara became my mentor, guiding me through the ups and downs of pursuing my dreams. She encouraged me to submit my work to local publications, and to my surprise, I began to see my writing published. But it wasn't just about the writing. I learned to embrace the spontaneity of life, to say yes to new experiences, and to let go of my fears. I danced in the streets during Mardi Gras, laughed with strangers at jazz festivals, and savored the rich flavors of gumbo and jambalaya. Each day was an adventure, and I felt more alive than I ever had before. One evening, as I sat on the balcony of Clara's apartment, watching the sun set over the Mississippi River, I reflected on how much my life had changed. The vibrant hues of orange and pink painted the sky, mirroring the transformation within me. I had come to New Orleans seeking a connection with my aunt, but I had found so much more. I had discovered my voice, my passion, and a community that embraced me for who I was. But as the months passed, I knew I couldn't stay in New Orleans forever. I had to return home, not to the same life I had left behind, but to a new beginning. I wanted to take everything I had learned and experienced and share it with my hometown. I wanted to inspire others to pursue their dreams, just as Clara had inspired me. The day of my departure arrived, and I felt a bittersweet ache in my heart. Clara and I stood on the steps of her apartment, hugging tightly. "You've grown so much, Anna," she said, her eyes glistening with pride. "Remember, this is just the beginning. Carry the spirit of New Orleans with you wherever you go." As I boarded the train back home, I held my journal close, filled with stories, poems, and memories of my time in the city. I knew that I would carry the lessons of my adventure with me for the rest of my life. I was no longer the timid girl who had left her small town. I was a writer, an adventurer, and a woman ready to embrace whatever came next. When I returned home, I felt different. The familiar sights of my town looked new, and I was eager to share my experiences with my friends and family. I organized a small gathering at the library, where I read some of my poems and shared stories of my journey. To my surprise, people listened intently, and I could see the spark of inspiration in their eyes. As I continued to write and share my work, I found a community of fellow creatives in my hometown. We formed a writing group where we encouraged each other to pursue our passions and explore our creativity. I realized that the magic I had found in New Orleans could exist anywhere, as long as I was willing to seek it out. Months turned into years, and my life continued to evolve. I published my first collection of poems, inspired by my journey and the people I had met along the way. I often thought of Clara and the impact she had on my life. I made it a point to visit her regularly, and each time, we would reminisce about our adventures and dream about future ones. Looking back, I understood that my journey was not just about finding a new place, it was about discovering who I truly was. I had learned to embrace change, to seek out adventure, and to connect with others on a deeper level. I had transformed from a girl who felt trapped in her routine to a woman who was unafraid to chase her dreams. As I sat down to write one evening, I reflected on the words Clara had shared with me, "Trust your instincts." Those words had become my guiding light, reminding me to follow my heart and embrace the unknown. I knew that life would continue to present challenges, but I was ready to face them head-on, armed with the courage and creativity I had discovered within myself. And so, my story continues, filled with new adventures, friendships, and the endless possibilities that life has to offer. I am Anna, a writer, an explorer, and a believer in the magic of following one's dreams. The world is vast, and I am ready to embrace every moment of it. The end.